live and also things to cover on my website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com. I'll put the link below after we're done here. Don't forget there is some complimentary items for you. And one is the 19 alternative paralegal careers list. You have to get that because I made this list up a while ago, and people tend to think that the only two places they can work are either private law firms or government agencies or working for the city or something, but those aren't the only places. In fact, when I did the website for my local paralegal association, we had a job board at one time, and we had NASCAR call us because I live near Daytona Beach. We had NASCAR contact us via email saying, could you place this job ad for a paralegal? So they had a paralegal in-house and an attorney that worked in a private law firm, and the paralegal and the attorney worked together, but they were based in different places. So it was really an interesting thing. I never thought about that until that point. That was about 12 years ago. So Walmart also employs paralegals, but you need to get this list because there'll be descriptions of places to work in that you may not have thought that employed paralegals, okay? So get that list on my website, Paralegal Coffee Talk. It'll say 19 alternative paralegal careers. Also, as a complimentary item for you, is a free chapter of my book, Legal Break-In. Be sure to get that if you don't have my book. If you want to get the book, it's on Amazon under Legal Break-In. Let's see what else. There's also a goals journal. Now, if you have any trouble downloading any of this, remember to check when you fill in the part with your email address and your name, that you check your spam folder. If you're on Gmail, they like to hide their spam folder, and it's on the left-hand side of Gmail. But be sure that you check the left-hand side, and you're going to have to scroll down and click other and then look for the spam folder. Boy, they hide it. I had to walk one of my students through that to find an invitation to our private group through my Paralegal Inner Circle course. So, okay, so let's talk about what if your answer hasn't come yet? And you're waiting and waiting for somebody to call you for an interview, to pay attention to you, to invite you to come work at their law firm, but you're not getting this. They're not calling you. Well, there could be several different reasons. When I went through this, when I moved from Oklahoma to Florida, and I went through that silence, sitting in my spare bedroom, which I used as an office, just sitting there going, why isn't anybody calling me? And that was even with experience. And I had to overcome some things that were missing in my resume and cover letter. It's part of what I teach in my Paralegal Inner Circle course. That's a small part of it, but it's an important part of it, okay? So let me read a quote to you. Ralph Waldo Emerson was one of a very famous poet. He said, life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. So what I was trying to figure out when no one was calling me was, what is it that I'm missing? And I had a couple of attorneys explain what they were. They were, first of all, they thought I was wanting a ton of money. And I really was not. Even with, I think I had 5 years experience at that point. And let me get rid of this. I keep getting notices on here. I had two attorneys call, and one was saying, I thought, well, I don't think I can afford you. And then the other one gave me a clue as well as to an adjustment I needed to make in both my cover letter and my resume, because they had to call me to ask me these questions. Instead, they should have been able to find it in the things that I sent them, but I didn't say anything about it. So let's talk about 5 different things, okay? The other reason that you might not be getting an answer is that this is not the place for you to work. And that's a bona fide concern, okay? That you have to trust that you're not being allowed to go into specific places because you're being protected. I have fought against that and went to the interview and did land the job. But then what the red flags that I should have noticed, I did not. And within 4 hours, I could see, 4 hours, I could see it was a place that I shouldn't be, and that the attorney would not be pleasant to work for. I became very fussy about who I would work with and what I would put up with. And being nasty and ultra sarcastic is not my idea of a fun day. So those were my criteria. And I should have seen the red flags, but I went ahead anyway. You won't get answers, and it's important that you not have your heart set on any specific law firm. And it might be that you have to be more flexible about the area of law you land in for your first job so that you can get a foot in the door. And it might be that you have to be more flexible about the actual position. I didn't start out as a paralegal. The very first job was legal receptionist / legal secretary, legal assistant, but really legal secretary. And I had a lot that I had to learn. And I didn't know that when I started. I had no idea. I wasn't making any assumptions. I just knew I came with strong office skills and business knowledge, but I had no clue how much was ahead of me. And that was okay. I was up for it. And I'm sure you are too. It's just, that was kind of mind-blowing, but it's also should, give you some, I don't know, a humble spirit that, this is why I couldn't land some of the jobs I applied for. And then you find out, So yes, there's a lot to learn, okay? So you might not get the job, and it might be a good thing for you. And how will you ever know that? You might find out later, because you might hear from other people that that is not a place to work. You might hear that through the grapevine, and they'll go, oh, that's why I didn't land that, see? But it's hindsight, looking back, gives you better vision sometimes. Number 2, let go of that need to know why you weren't hired. It's a done deal. Move on, move forward. Just keep going forward and don't give up. It's hard not to give up, but that's what builds our character. Number 3, take a small step. You can put it out there. Put yourself out there. I had somebody say to me, well, I think I'm gonna send out 100 cover letters and resume and just see what flies. That is not the way to do it. That is not the way to do it. That's a huge step that is going to be a waste of your time, because first, you can't put the cart before the horse. You have to have some legal knowledge that you can trade off on. And I don't mean education. That's fine. That's part of legal knowledge, no doubt. And going through a certificate course, that's part of legal knowledge. But unfortunately, that does not help the attorney in the everyday work world. See, there's a whole gap that isn't covered in the 2-year degree or the certificate. So the small step is to figure out what area of law you are interested in. If you don't have any desire to research areas of law, then are you really interested in this field? The thing is, you're not going to make $50,000+ when you start this career because you have a lot to learn yet. You know, you can up your salary by salary up. I have a video on this channel about how I increased my paralegal salary. You can go search for that, okay? And it wasn't because they decided to bless me with a $5,000 annual raise. Really, that doesn't happen. It's rare that that would happen. So take those steps to better yourself and get those skill sets down that mean a lot to the attorney. Okay, that's one of the reasons I developed my Paralegal Inner Circle course, because there is this gap of knowing how to help the attorney starting on day one. And that's what I teach in that course. I give you legal knowledge that you add to your resume and cover letter, plus you know how to do the cover letter properly. Okay, so number 4, go into an area of your life that you've been neglecting while you're waiting to figure things out. What do you have to organize to take your attention off the waiting and the impatience, and attack some of those things? Maybe it's that you need to be better at Microsoft Word, or you need to get help with your reading skills, truly, or English grammar skills, or you need to learn some legal terminology. If that's the case, then go to Amazon and look for legal terminology and right after legal terminology, put BARCHARTS, bar charts. That will be a laminated fold out pamphlet that's really cool, and it will give you a ton of legal terminology that you can just check out on your lunch hour, and you don't have to memorize all that, but get used to that terminology. That would be a great thing for you to pick up, okay? Number 5 is connect with God, with your spiritual side, and ask Him to show you what to do, to bless your efforts, to place you in a law firm that is good for you, and wait for His answer. While you're waiting, it builds your character, okay? It makes you wait and trust. Okay, don't try to push ahead like I did into that job that was a horrible place to be. And it made me stand back and go, okay, I should have done better in the interview itself and asked a lot more questions. And I should have seen the red flags, which were very obvious, even before I went into the interview. I saw no other paralegals in there. There were 2 empty desks. When I questioned that, they said both left at the same time. That rarely happens. That tells you something was amiss, okay? So let me ask you some questions. So what answer are you waiting on right now? What message are you getting from that waiting? Is doubt creeping in? Like, what's going on while you're waiting? And then what area of your life do you need to focus on while you're waiting? I mean, I needed to organize the office I was sitting in at that time. My little spare bedroom was a it was a mess. I needed to get that organized. That took my mind off the waiting, and it helped me think, actually. By getting rid of that clutter, it helped me think about how I could improve some things, how I could, for lack of a better word, entice people to take notice of me, of my resume and cover letter, and call me, because I had a lot to offer. And even when I was first starting out, I had a lot to offer, but I needed to learn a lot more. I needed to be sure to remain humble, because there was a lot more to learn. And having not worked in the legal field before, I didn't know anything about it, just like you. So one step at a time, and understand that in order to help the attorney, and that's what you will be doing, you will not be professional, and we are not that in the US, okay? We are staffers. We are professionals, but we are not licensed to give advice. So we are the attorney's right arm. We are the engine that helps drive the law firm. We're not the only gear that helps drive it, but we're a big part of that. When we are experienced and we add to our legal knowledge, we become more valuable to the attorney, and you only want to work for people who appreciate you. Okay? And that takes asking a lot of questions in the interview. All right? So don't forget to go to the website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com. Check out those complimentary items I talked about, the Goals Journal, the 19 Alternative Paralegal Careers, the free chapter of my book, Legal Break-In. And be sure to, if you think you want to attend my class, don't miss out. It's the last launch of 2019, and then I won't launch it again till sometime in 2020. The Paralegal Inner Circle class. It's on the website right near the other things I mentioned, and there's a wait list to get on. And there's a lot of info on that page, and there are testimonials. So I hope you'll join us. We are going to launch in just a little over 2 weeks, September 15th. We're in the home stretch now. So that is it for today. So I hope you will, if you have any questions, comments, post them below, or just say hello. Love hearing from you. And I will talk to you in tomorrow's video. So have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye.